It started off like any other day in Parliament. The agenda, a serious and contentious debate on national security reforms. Most MPs were reading from notes, trading predictable jabs, and playing it safe. That is, until one voice broke the monotony. MP Rachel Denning, a lesser-known but fiercely outspoken representative from the backbenches, stood up with a calm, measured presence, and within minutes, completely upended the energy in the chamber. Her target, none other than Labour leader Keir Starmer himself. At first Starmer looked unbothered, even amused. He leaned back as Denning began to speak. But then she did something few dared to do. She cut through the rhetoric and asked the uncomfortable questions that had been lurking beneath the surface of the national security discussion. With careful build-up, she questioned the consistency of Labour's position on civil liberties and government surveillance. Her tone was not confrontational. It was precise, pointed, and devastatingly effective. Then came the moment that changed everything. Denning leaned slightly forward, voice firm but controlled, and asked if the right honorable member truly believes in transparency. Perhaps he can explain to this House why his office redacted key findings from the independent oversight report, especially findings that concerned the privacy rights of British citizens. For a split second, you could hear a pin drop. There were no murmurs, no shuffling of papers, just a piercing silence that swallowed the entire chamber. The camera panned to Starmer. His expression stiffened. He reached for his notes but said nothing. 10 seconds passed. 10 long seconds where the leader of the opposition had no answer. What followed was even more remarkable. A few Labour MPs glanced at one another. Some looked down. A couple on the government benches smirked, clearly sensing the energy shift. Starmer eventually muttered a vague line about ongoing reviews and accountability, but the damage was done. Denning had not just rattled him, she had exposed a pressure point in his leadership that many believed didn't exist. And she did it without raising her voice or using inflammatory language. It was calm, surgical, and unforgettable. Outside the chamber, the reaction was explosive. Political commentators took to the airwaves, calling it one of the most brutal yet professional takedowns in recent memory. Hashtags like #RattledStarmer and #Denning debate began trending within the hour. On social media, people on all sides of the political spectrum praised Denning for speaking truth to power and cutting through the spin. Even some Labour supporters admitted it was a bad moment for their leader. In interviews afterward, Denning stood by her words, saying, "I asked a simple question. The British public deserves a straight answer." This moment wasn't just about a debate, it was about accountability. In just 4 minutes on the floor, MP Rachel Denning reminded everyone what real parliamentary scrutiny looks like. Whether you agree with her politics or not, there's no denying her courage. As for he'll likely think twice the next time Denning stands up to speak. This wasn't just a debate. It was a reckoning.